So now, ladies and gentlemen, live and in colour, it's Mr. Wayne Love Juice.
The other day I produced a Louis, had a chat with an interesting chappie who said that the YouTube algorithms really aren't that happy. If a channel only broadcasts once a week, so we decided we could text ya whenever we've got a piece of news in our new book on the Track Extra.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's John Downs. I'm the Director of the Centre for Fortean Zoology, and welcome to another episode of On the Track Extra. For those of you who don't know, On the Track is a show we do every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock for about half an hour. On the Track Extra, this show, is one we do on Wednesday evenings at 6:30 for about half that. And on the last Wednesday of the month, we bring you the Last Wednesday of the Month show, which is about an hour and a half, and it features me and the lovely Vivian Powell, together with our panel, Dave Scott from CFZ Canada, Ian Squibbs, Loch Ness expert and strange Welshman, and V. McCrinnan, debating, discussing, and generally making fun of the latest cryptozoological news, together with a potpourri of delicious guests. And yes, I did steal that line from that Beatles podcast that I can't remember what it's called, but they are delicious and they're also a potpourri. But what are we talking about tonight? Well, something that's always interested me is the way that cryptids, or what appear to be cryptids, turn up in places where they really shouldn't be. A good example of this is the Coromandel man, a Bigfoot-type creature reported from New Zealand, where a creature known as the Moihau has been reported from the Coromandel Peninsula over the years. Some Maori people suggest that the creature is a descendant of the Mearu, an Iwai Atua or supernatural being from Maori folklore. Mearu are characterized as wild, malevolent, and often violent, carrying stone clubs as weapons. They are covered in dark body hair and have long, bony fingers with sharp fingernails. They kill and eat humans and other animals. The Mearu are said to harbour anger towards the Maori who arrived from Hawaii and are thought to have displaced them and ruined the tapu or sacredness of their homes, forcing them to dwell in inhospitable alpine regions. Another explanation for the Moihu is that it was an exaggerated report of an escaped gorilla or baboon. An old retired seafarer told a story of a pet baboon on a ship anchored off the bay, which had been teased by the crew. To escape taunts, it had taken refuge in the rigging. Approached by its tormentors, it leaped into the water, swam ashore, and disappeared into the hills. However, George Dean, the director of Auckland Zoo, refuted this theory, pointing out that, amongst other things, that owing to climatic conditions and lack of suitable food, such an animal as a baboon could certainly not survive in the New Zealand bush. And there are also New Zealand mystery cats. And all this is peculiar in a place that has very few native mammals. Just for the record, there are 3 modern species of bat known from New Zealand, of which one is suspected to be extinct. And there's one species of rodent, the Kiori, or Polynesian rat, which it is popularly believed arrived alongside the Maoris. The other three species of rodent known from New Zealand these days all came with Europeans. There are seals and there are marine mammals, whales, dolphins, but none others, although interestingly, historically it seems that the mammal population of New Zealand was more diverse than it is today, with several more bat species and even a basal theriform mammal known as the St. Bathans mammal. The St. Bathans mammal is known from three small specimens, fragmentary specimens, from the early Miocene period in New Zealand. This is 18.7 million years ago to 15.9 million years ago. It's notable for being a late surviving archaic mammal species which is neither a placental or a marsupial, and it also provides evidence that flightless, fully terrestrial mammals did, in fact, once live in New Zealand. It was about the size of a large shrew or a rodent, and that's about all that we know about it. For the last 50 years, there have been sightings of what have been described as monstrous cats all across New Zealand, but particularly in the Canterbury area, where this photograph was taken in 2020. About 4 years ago, we were in contact with somebody who had claimed in New Zealand newspapers to have shot one of these creatures, and we came very close to getting hair samples, but once again, money got in the way, and the person who claimed to have the body gave it to somebody else who had more money than us to pay for us. This is not an excuse for me to try and ask for money. I'm not doing anything of the sort, but I'm just explaining why so many promising investigations do fall down. But believe it or not, I'm not even here to talk about mystery cats in New Zealand, or Coromandel man, or the basal mammal. I'm here to talk about a mystery cat that has been reported in another island country, where there is absolutely no realistic chance of there being true indigenous mystery cats. Hawaii is another island group, and this one has even fewer endemic mammal species than does New Zealand. If you ignore marine mammals and seals, it has one species of bat and another one that's been extinct for possibly 1100, maybe less, years, and that's it. It also has the Polynesian rat, the same species as is known in New Zealand, and it probably came from the same source. So, how come we have a mystery cat reported within the past few days from one of the Hawaiian Islands? Let's take a look. Manoa is a largely residential district on the outskirts of Honolulu, which is the capital of Hawaii and which is situated on the island of Oahu, the third largest of the Hawaiian Islands. And in recent days there has been reports of a mystery cat seen there. I'm now going to quote from the newspaper. This is under the headline, you can see it, Large Cat Spotted in Manoa, Hawaii, search underway near the East-West Center. Officials are urging people near the University of Hawaii at Manoa to stay alert after a large cat was reported in Manoa. Earlier this week, a concerned resident reportedly snapped a photo of the creature and shared a warning. Be very alert because something is out there, definitely something big, Donovan Louis said, per Con2 News. Some who've seen the image think it might be a mountain lion or some other kind of large cat. I called Fishing and Wildlife and actually emailed them pictures, Luis said. He said that he saw the animal again the next morning around 11:15 a.m. It was just sitting there, he said. It looked like it was looking for something to eat. We heard there's a mountain lion, and I don't think that these are born in Hawaii, Sophie Maloney told Con2 News. No, they're not. And another UH student, Marty Kawar, told the outlet, I was a little nervous and also really excited. I'm also really nosy, so that's why I ended up here. The Department of Land and Natural Resources confirmed it received a report of a large cat near the East-West Center at the University of Hawaii. Officers from the Department of Land and Natural Resources Division of Conservation and Resources Enforcement, DOCARE, searched the hillside near the East-West Center on Friday the 23rd of May. I hope they catch it, 'cause, yeah, it can definitely pull one of us, Luis said. Interestingly, in 2022, several unconfirmed sightings of what some people believed was a mountain lion on the Big Island occurred. DOCARE spent several hours combing the area on foot and even deployed a drone to try and get a better look, but it came up empty. They asked people who have anything to add to this to dial 808-643-DLNR if they see any large cat or similar thing around the mountain's east-west center. Golly is all one can say. I'm actually quite appalled at the level of misinformation and lack of knowledge that people have about the wildlife and the natural world of the place where they live. But that's another story. I've been bellyaching on about that for years. What do you think this creature is? Well, first of all, let's look at the 2022 pictures. I'm afraid, from my point of view at least, that we can probably dismiss the nighttime shot, which was taken by an American tourist from California who identified it as a mountain lion because it is so blurry and indistinct it could be anything. The daytime shot is considerably more impressive, and I do have to say that, at least on the face of it, it does look like it's a leopard. But there's no proof that it, and no way of showing that it was actually taken in Hawaii and that it wasn't taken, for example, in India. But it's an interesting photograph, which is about all one can say about it. The current pictures, however, I'm afraid to me they look like an orange cat. And one member of the OTT Xtra team agrees with me.
Well, I was on a holiday in Hawaii last week, and I think they took a photograph of me. It certainly looks handsome enough to be me.
Well, personally, I wouldn't believe a word that the orange cat says, because he is worse at self-aggrandizing himself than even some of the different researchers we know around the world. In fact, he's so bad at self-aggrandizing he could well be a researcher. But I don't believe he was on a holiday last week in Hawaii or anywhere else, mainly because he was sleeping on my bed most of the time. However, it still looks like an orange cat to me. What do you think? Please put your comments down below because I look forward to reading them. And we will do a show with a follow-up for this, and we'll put your comments in the show. That's about it for this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly found it very interesting putting it together. I'm particularly interested in that basal mammal from New Zealand, which until this afternoon I had no idea existed. Doing these shows is as much of an education for me as it is for anybody watching the shows. So, thank you for your support. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll continue to carry on watching. I'm back on Saturday. What am I doing on Saturday? Well, I believe it is the last part of my interview with the lovely Ian Scribbs about the infamous Tim Dinsdale footage from Loch Ness. But on the other hand, it might not be. I might have got that completely wrong. I'm going to be back on Saturday, whatever it is, and I hope you're going to be there watching, especially you, Mr. McCrinnan, because if you're there watching and I'm there doing all the gubbins I normally do on a Saturday afternoon, you know, the live chats and the notifications, and then, to be quite honest, I usually go to sleep. But if I am there doing all the gubbins I usually do on a Saturday afternoon, and you're there watching, I most certainly will be seeing you. Trust me, I'm a cryptozoologist.